Well, that didn't work either. Hi, I know I'm 2 minutes early because I scheduled the live to go live at 2, but then it seemed like when I hit go live, I was actually live. So that's crazy. So I don't really, I don't really know apparently how this works. So I'm going to have to do a little experimenting. But anyway, also the delay it's so far delayed. When I'm looking at the actual YouTube, it still has my just Patty Lyons. So, all right, I can see Nancy's here and Bonnie's here and Rachel's here. So, luckily, I didn't hit the go live button that early because it's still 1 minute till. But I'll just say hi. So, all right, this has been kind of a new deal for me. Obviously, I'm not in my home studio with all my own lights and all my own equipment. I mean, this is my equipment, but it's brand new. So this is all crazy. I just got a brand new computer because I'm trying to be able to do classes and I needed a faster processor. So anyway, hopefully you can all hear me. Can someone let me know how the sound is? Because this is also a brand new mic and a brand new sound setup and all brand new. So hello, who do we got going here? Oh, and I forgot to clean my glasses. Oh, that's awesome. Do you think I can clean my glasses with a linen swatch? Is that going to work? Let's give it a try. Oh, Dawn, Regina, Betsy, hello. Oh, British Columbia. I love British Columbia. So someone tell me how my mic sounds. Am I too loud, too soft? Does this sound okay? I can't believe I just sort of cleaned my glasses with with a linen swatch. Oh, what computer did I get? I just got, I mean, you don't, unless you do professional filming, you do not need what I just bought. So I bought the new MacBook Pro with the 4-quad processor, like most powerful, everything you can have because I need a lot of processing speed. So anyway, hi. So I played around with the lights. I played around with the camera setup. I have a new camera switcher. That's why I can do from boom to boom. Okay. So here's the news. Okay. Couple of things I wanted to tell everyone. One is I wanted to make sure that you knew that all of the YouTube lives will be featured on my homepage. You'll be able to watch them later, and you'll be able to watch them with auto-generated subtitles. One thing I wanted to make sure everybody knew about the subtitles is when I start talking fast, which is always, and when I start talking knitting terms, sometimes things get a little crazy. I'm looking at being able to go back and edit the subtitles, but I just want to quickly show you where they all are in case anyone is new to YouTube and you don't know that you can do this. When you're watching a YouTube, first of all, if you ever, this is never a problem with me, I'm a fast talker. But if you're ever watching a slow talker and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to kill myself, they're talking way too slow, you can make them go faster. So that's one thing. But I also just want to show you on the YouTube app, there's 3 little dots on the upper right-hand corner. If you click on those 3 little dots, that's where you get playback speed option. And you also get the option to turn on subtitles. So just want to make sure everyone out there knows that you can watch me with subtitles, and the subtitles are sometimes crazy. Okay, just going to catch up on comments here. I don't do filming. So by the way, Elizabeth, as far as laptop goes, I was super happy with my MacBook Air. I loved it, but it's not got a powerful enough processing for filming. So my MacBook Air is still going to be my travel computer because it's so light, and this bad boy is not. So that's the news there. Okay, couple things I want to tell you about. The title of this is Quarantine Live, Tubular Cast On, and Secret Project. It's Tubular Cast On because I got a request in the last live that might be a fun thing to demo. So we're going to look at that. But I also wanted to tell you about a secret project because it's just us, I'm going to tell you. So do you know what do they call it? The what of the traveling pants? Oh God, now I forgot the name. Someone type it. Not the Society of the traveling pants. You know the traveling pants? The pants that friends share? Anyone? By the way, I see myself on the monitor, and I'm going to tell you one thing that's important. Yeah. I don't wear makeup ever, except for when I teach live. When I teach live, when I go to a show like Vogue Knitting or Stitches and I just want to be presentable, I do put on under eye concealer. Sisterhood of the traveling pants. Thank you. Oh, Pam, I got to talk to you later about Zoom. Remind me. So I don't put on makeup normally. But because sleeping isn't a big thing that's happening with me currently, the bags under my eyes are really bad. So I think we're going to do a grocery run. We haven't gone shopping in a couple weeks because my husband is a really good shopper, and we've been cooking for ourselves. But I think we finally run out of food. I might buy some under eye concealer. Wait. Live from Spain. Okay, I get it. You can't stay long. That's okay. Virtual pub quiz. Oh, you got to do a virtual pub quiz, but you can watch me later. Okay, so back to the sisterhood, thank you, of the traveling pants. My friends Melissa, Brooke, and Carol and I have always toyed around with the idea of doing some kind of design that was not planned. So this is Brooke Nico, Carol Skowski, and Melissa Liebman, 3 other designers. So we finally decided to do it. And the way it works is one of us grabs some yarn and they cast on and they knit a small section, and then they send it and the yarn to the next person and they continue. So I'm going to show you the tiniest sneak peek. When I got the first section from Melissa, I was like, well, what's that going to be? It's not wide enough to be a triangular shawl from the bottom. Oh, wait, maybe I'll do an asymmetrical shape and that'll be the side corner. So this is what we're doing. So I'm going to give the sneakiest of peeks. I'm going to switch over so I can see. So that's what I got from Melissa. And now I'm continuing with this lace chart that I made. Woo! Okay. So keep your eyes open for this. We're going to do 2 of them, 2 crazinesses, and they will end up on my Rav page, and we're doing it as a fundraiser for a couple friends that are really struggling financially, have kids, and rent is due and out of work, and blah, blah, blah. You know the deal. But it's going to be really fun. We're going to start doing some video diaries of what's happening, with each part, and it's going to be really fun. Oh my God, you guys are commenting so much. Zoom's amazing, I know. COVID-19, no makeup. I never wear makeup, so that's just a thing. But can I tell you a Zoom secret? So first of all, I spent all day on Zoom yesterday, and it's misbehaving for me in one way that at first I thought was going to interfere with my class. Oh, by the way, can everyone see what this mug says? There you go. Keep calm and knit on, yo. Okay. So I thought it was going to interfere with my class, but it is not, because it is misbehaving, because when I plug in my iPad, it does not acknowledge it no matter what I do. All my permissions are set. Pam, I'll check them with you later. But I have my new camera switching software, which allows me to do all sorts of funky views. Like here, just pretend for a second this empty box that I'm about to show you is a PowerPoint. Boom, like that. So I'm just days away from getting my final test done with running my first online class. It's going to be the lecture that I worked really hard on for Vogue and didn't get a chance to do, called, what did I call it? Easy Does It. The Secrets of Sweater Construction and Ease. So keep your eyes open. I'm going to be announcing it all over on social media, and I'm going to be announcing it on my newsletter. My newsletter is going to go out next week. And I'm going to do 2 lives, one on Friday and one on Saturday, because not everyone can do it on Friday during the day because some people are still working remotely from home. The advantage to doing it live is there'll be a live Q&A at the end, which I need a moderator for, which is what I'm going to talk to Pam about. She's the moderator of my RAV group. So there is a fun advantage to doing it live, because you'll get to do a Q&A. You'll get to ask questions. And there'll be an introductory price for the first couple guinea pigs that do it live. And then after that, you'll be able to just purchase the class and download it. And that's going to be my first baby step class. And then I'll get into other knitting classes, because camera switcher and overhead cam, which I'm going to take a look at in a second. So I'm just going to catch up on comments. Hi from Maryland. Oh, Pam, are you passing the yarn along? Yeah. So for instance, I get the first part in the mail and the yarn that was attached. And then there's more yarn. So this is the first one we're doing. This and this other color, which I left downstairs. This other color, this one. And so then when I finish my part, I send it along. I think it's going to go to Brooke next. And it goes along with I guess, as the project gets farther along, it probably takes a shape that, is going to be obvious. So like at the beginning, when I just got this teeny little wedge, I could have gone a million different ways from there. But I decided, what if I, now make it a shape like that, and then that's not the bottom, it's going to be the side. And so then I have an idea of where the shape might go next. So I might pass on my idea to Brooke, and she can take it or totes ignore it and do some other crazy shape. But I think it's going to be really cool. Can you tag other people? Regina just gave a little shout out to her friend Sally. Oh, I see. Sally's right above. Oh, how can I get your newsletter? Yeah, just go to my website, pattylyons.com, and sign up for it. You gotta get the newsletter, because all my newsletter peeps know they always get coupons to any new pattern. They get, all sorts of private things that go out first. So there you go. Oh, I was registered to hear your lecture in Seattle. I'm sorry. So I had put out a call for those that had been registered. I mean, when Vogue canceled back then, we thought it was we didn't realize it was going to be the first of many events that would have to cancel. Because back then, I mean, it's crazy. Like 2 weeks ago seems like 3 years ago as far as what we knew in the ever-evolving story. But it was in Seattle at the heart of the outbreak. which now, like, calling that an outbreak seems like nothing compared to what's happening in New York, but you know, there you go. And then with Stitches canceled, then Yarn Over was canceled, then Knitting in the Heartland was canceled. I'm forgetting one. I think a guild event that I had. Anyway, one of many. So I'm hoping to fill in the gaps with some fun online classes. So, all right, you ready to check out the test? My first test of the camera switcher and the overhead cam. And again, this is not my real lighting. And this is the first time I'm using this, so I'm also playing around with focus because this is going to be really complicated to explain, but the camera switcher itself is a software that you should be able to stream from, yet it doesn't think have those permissions set up with YouTube, which I do, so I can't stream from that. So I have OBS is my streaming that's using the camera switching software as the camera, and then I'm reading the comments here, and then I have my camera software for focusing, so it's all insanity. All right, so I'm going to do a quick check-in here before I go on. Hello. Houston Fiber Festival. Yes, Houston is hoping to go. We'll see. You know, fingers crossed that will be able to happen. I certainly hope so. But you know, time will tell as we get closer into May. Okay, let's talk tubular cast on, because that was a request. So tubular cast on is a beautiful cast on that creates a rounded edge. So I don't have a sample of it here because all my samples are at home. But instead of ribbing where it has a hard bottom, it rounds over almost like you took your ribbing and folded it in half and sewed it. There is no beginning and there is no end. It's done many different ways. It springs forth from many different types of cast-ons. I teach a class called Totally Tubular, which teaches a bunch of different cast-ons. And I teach a class called Knitting Magic, which shows a tubular cast-on off of Judy's Magic cast-on. But today I want to show you the tubular cast-on off of the Italian cast-on. And what I have for you is I have two yarns tied together. Oh, my coffee's in the shot. It's very professional. As long as it's in the shot, I'm going to go ahead and take a sip. And now I'm going to put it far away from my insanely expensive computer and my laptop. Okay, so what I have here is two different colors. Just have to find two different colors tied together. So what I did is I have two different colors tied together as like my training wheels so that you'll be able to see it a little easier. And then I'm going to take the training wheels off. So you can ignore this little knot. I am pretending this is one continuous piece of yarn. So I'm pretending it's one continuous piece of yarn. And when I start, I drape the tail to the back. So in this case, the tail is played by the purple yarn. And I cross the tail over the working yarn. So the tail is played by the purple yarn, and I cross the tail in front of the working yarn. All right, so first things first before I continue, how is the focus? Am I sharp enough? And just going to zoom in a little more. Okay. So what we're doing is we're casting on knits and purls. So there's a few things I want to show you. One is if you forget where you've left off because say the phone is rang or you were watching Tiger King, which by the way, I didn't really like. I watched one episode and I'm like, I'm out. Whatever yarn is crossing on top. So notice here, the thumb yarn is crossing on top. I know my needle goes to the other yarn. So in other words, if I went under the thumb yarn, oops, see how it just unraveled. So the yarn that crosses on top is your clue to where to go next. So I'm going to go under the finger yarn. Now notice, think about that finger yarn as a stitch on the needle. I've entered a stitch on the needle. So does everyone see what we're doing is purling? My needle is coming towards me, and I wrap the purple yarn over the needle the same way I do when I purl, and I push it back under the green yarn. Does everyone see? I now have a purl stitch. Do you see that that green yarn, just gonna, hold on a second here. That green yarn is like a little purl bump. Does everyone see the little purl bump there? Okay, so that is a purl. So now if the green yarn is crossing in front, twink, I know I have to go to the purple yarn. So now I go under the purple yarn, and notice I'm knitting. There I've entered a stitch on the needle, and I wrap the green yarn around as if to knit and pull it on through. Now if I look right at the base of that stitch, does everyone see that that is a knit stitch? You see the green? So now I have to purl. Enter a stitch, wrap as if to purl, push through. Enter a stitch, wrap as if to knit, pull through. And what I'm doing is I'm alternating knits and purls. So you can see why the different color yarn is like the training wheels. Does everyone see that? Is this interesting or boring? So someone has to tell me. Should I keep going? Interesting or boring? Let's see. So now I'm going to take off the training wheels. We're going to go to one color. So this is our first step. We're casting on in knits and purls. But we need to have a second step. Okay, so the first step is we're casting on in knits and purls. And what actually makes it tubular, makes it go around, is we are creating a bit of double knitting. I'm going to take that purple out of the way. So when you knit in the round, you have a circle of knitting, right? But for those of us who do Judy's Magic Cast On, it can look like this. I mean, Magic Loop, right? It looks like this. But if you visualize that knitting in the round only on one needle, you can see you're alternating between knits and purls. But that is the concept of double knitting, creating a double-sided fabric. So after the cast on, we're going to look at how to work it, which is 2 rows of double knitting. So let's take a look at it again. Okay, without the training wheels, here we go. That tail is draped over the needle to the back, and I cross the tail in front of the working yarn. Now my thumb and finger enter it like long tail, but I'm not working with these 2 bottom pieces of yarn. I'm only working with the 2 pieces of yarn that are coming off of the needle. Now we see that the thumb yarn is crossed over the finger yarn, which means I know if thumb yarn's on top, I go to finger yarn first, and I purl, and I knit, 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 and I purl, however many stitches you need to cast on. Now I need to work it. So first of all, I'm not going to drop that tail. I'm going to hang on to it for a second as I turn. Now, let's see if you can see that. Does everyone see the knits and purls? So that first stitch is a purl. There's a knit. I'm not sure how clear this is coming across. Hold on one second. So does everyone see? There's the purl bump. There's the purl bump. That's the knit. Does everyone see that? So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be slipping the pearls with yarn in front, and I'm going to be knitting the knits. So for 1 hot second, I just hold that tail to the back and I slip the pearl with yarn in front, move my yarn to the back, knit. You can drop the tail after a hot second. Move the yarn to the front, slip, and it does not matter, whoops, yarn's inside my needle. Doesn't matter whether you pick or throw. Here's for picking. I am knitting the knits, and I move my yarn to the front, and I'm slipping the pearls. I knit, I slip. And I'm going to do this for 2 rows. 2 rows of my slipping and my knitting and my slipping. So now I turn around, and that stitch is a knit, so I'm going to knit it, and I'm going to slip, and I'm going to knit. So you're doing this for 2 rows. So if you were doing, say, a mitten, and you were going to join in the round, I do my tubular cast on, and then I will join in the round at this point. So there it is. That is double knitting. Does everyone see that beautiful rounded edge? Sharpen up the focus a bit. There we go. Beautiful rounded edge. And from there, I would just go into my rib. Can you do this for 2 by 2? You can, but there's a trick. So, can you do it for 2 by 2? Let me go back to my big face as I do the rib. Yes, except what you're doing is the cast on is the same. The Italian cast on is the same. You can't cast on in 2 by 2. So you're doing that knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, right? The trick comes in the after the cast on, in the double knitting. And what you're doing here, I'm going to actually, you know what, let me show it to you. I'm going to go to the big camera. So I'm going to take this out. Hold on a second. Okay. So let me take this. So here I am. I've done the cast on, but I want to show you how we can rearrange these stitches for 2 by 2. So here's a purl stitch. I'm going to purl it, but I want a 2 by 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange the stitches. It's weird. It looks sort of out of focus here, but really in focus over here. So hold on 1 second. Okay. So here's a purl, but I don't want to knit this guy. So what I'm going to do is basically a cable. I'm going to insert the tip of the needle into the second stitch, slide that first one off, and rearrange. So now I purl, and I knit, knit, and I purl, and I repeat. Insert into the purl, slide the first knit off, rearrange. This is cabling without a cable needle. And I purl, and I knit, knit, and I purl, and I don't have the right number of stitches because I didn't cast on for a multiple of a 2 by 2 rib, but you get the idea. And I'll show you what this looks like. I'm going to knit 1 more row while I read comments, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay. So let me come back over here. Yes, you need to learn to do this. It's really interesting. Yes, Emily, oh my God. So Emily said, I've done the Italian cast on, but didn't see it as making knits and pearls. Me too. So when I learned the Italian cast on, I just learned it like I was making, whoo, hoo, hoo, hoo. But I need to break things down into the why. So when I realized, hey, wait a minute. Oh, I see. That needle is coming towards me. Well, when I purl, the needle comes towards me. Oh, look at that. When I purl, my yarn's in front. Oh, my thumb's in front. Oh, I'm wrapping the yarn over as if to purl, right? Then I started really seeing it as knits and pearls. So with a lot of cast-ons, when you slow yourself down and you force yourself to really see it as what it is, a series of knits and pearls, life becomes so much better. So I'm just putting in a couple rows of what is almost a knit 2 purl 2 rib, except I have knit 1 purl 1 at the end, just so you can sort of see what it looks like while I catch up. Okay, I'm scrolling back, see if I missed anything. Oh, thank you, Donna. Best explanation of Italian cast on I've ever seen, and that was just really fast. Kind of reminds me of long-tail cast on, not quite. So there are some similarities, but a lot of differences. So long-tail cast on has a similarity with long-tail cast on in rib, where you're casting on in the knits off of the finger yarn and the pearls off of the thumb yarn. It's true. The difference between long-tail cast on and Italian cast on is with long-tail cast on, you're using the other 2 pieces of yarn. The 2 pieces of yarn, I'm going to show it to you in a second. So hold on 1 second. Here we go. Okay, let me just turn this around so that you can see what the cheat looks like. Okay, so there's that cheat of tubular cast on in 2x2 rib. So it still has that lovely rounded edge, but the bottom does flare just a bit, not a lot, but just a bit. And once it's finished, you don't really see it much because that one row you've rearranged those stitches. So while I'm in the overhead cam, let me just show you the main difference conceptually between longtail and Italian. With longtail, you're not just using these 2 pieces. These 2 pieces of yarn are the ball of yarn. But these 2 pieces down here are the pieces of yarn that are your stitch. So in Italian cast on, we're treating the thumb yarn as our stitch on the needle and the finger yarn as what we're knitting with. The finger yarn is the stitch on the needle and the thumb yarn is what we're purling with. With longtail, we're creating a stitch on the needle by going under that far piece of yarn, and there's my stitch on the needle, and I'm going to knit it. Under the far piece of yarn, there's my stitch on the needle, and I'm going to purl it. Oops, I'm getting some kind of alert over here. What is this alert? Error, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth stream. Okay, not really sure what that means. But there's something wrong with my stream. So I'll see what happens. I'm scared to click more info. But I'm in the woods, so perhaps it's getting a little interrupted. All right, I'm not really sure why. I'm going to check my OBS and see. I don't know why. Okay, sorry you guys. Apparently am I freezing? Is that what's happening? All right, I'm catching up on comments. Italian cast on. I've used 2-color tubular cast on for double knitting. Exactly. Yes. Double knitting is the same concept, right? What we're doing with the tubular cast on is 2 rows of double knitting. Exactly. Why don't you purl the pearls? Why don't I purl the pearls? If I purled the pearls, I'd get a solid piece of fabric. I want to purl the pearls eventually, But first, I want double knitting. So what double knitting is open. And the way double knitting is created is by knitting the knits, but slipping the purls. So when you do a tubular bind off, which I'm not going to do today, but maybe I'll do another time, 2 rows before your tubular bind off, you go back into that double knitting, because then those stitches, doink, are unconnected, they're separated, and you can create that rounded tubular edge. So what we actually need is that double knitting. Oh, so I'm okay, I'm not freezing? That's good. Oh, bye, Emily. Have fun at pub quiz. I hope you win. Oh, jerky paws. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I am in the woods, so did I miss the demo for ribbing? You did, but that's okay because you can replay it later. So yeah, I did a 2x2 ribbing. So you'll see that after the live is no longer live. So that's my today's demo, and I wanted to show you my secret project, which I'm really excited about. Got a lot. I've got farther to go on that. The secret project sort of distracted me from the fall, and I'm also really distracted by my hair, which is crazy pants today. It distracted me from the fall sweater design, which I really have to get cracking on. When I started design, first I just sort of sketch some shapes and think about the things that I want, the features that I want on it, like do I want pockets, what kind of collar, etc. I'm going to get into the cable swatching next. And I'm playing around with construction. I'm trying not, I can go down a rabbit hole of funky, strange constructions, but I think I want to try to focus. So I do want to have some stitches running in different directions on the back, but I haven't decided. Oh, I forgot I'm wearing a lav, and I really shouldn't rub my neck. Sorry about that. Oh, sorry, I got distracted by a comment. I've always wanted naturally curly hair. Thank you. Being born in the 60s, it was not in. So being in my my, I don't know, what do you call it, my impressionable years in the 70s, when is anyone old enough to remember a product called Long and Silky? Everything was about long straight hair. Everything was about long straight hair. I hated my hair. I tried to straighten it with a curling iron, where but then the 80s, everyone was perming their hair, so I was like, whatever. But I am really happy that I don't dye my hair, because this morning on my morning news show on New York One, they were talking about what everyone's doing with their hair and with no makeup and without a manicure, and I'm like, welcome to my world. That's how I live my life. That's why my favorite class feedback form ever was, can't she run a comb through that hair and a little makeup wouldn't kill her? Which the answer was yes, it really would. Oh, thank you. What's the cost? Nancy, what's the cost of what? Oh my God, the comments are coming so fast. A mock hem. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Oh, what's the benefit of this cast on? So a tubular cast on creates this lovely finished edge. Hold on, let me go back to my camera switcher. Kind of like you get in a commercial knit. So with a commercial knit, where it's just completely rounded, right? It's really gorgeous. There's no hard cast on edge, and it is really stretchy. Now the 2x2 tubular isn't as stretchy as the 1x1, but it's still really stretchy. Just trying this now, but then I use the tail. I did that in class. I did that in class last time I was teaching it, because I'm looking through a monitor. So I have the iPad up like that, and my hands are underneath it, and I'm looking through the monitor, and sometimes the tail of yarn is off camera, so I don't notice that I'm doing it with the tail. which is pretty funny. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, shoot. Costume. Oh. And I had one. Well, it wasn't really one. I had a funny hat for today and I forgot to wear it. I was so, this setup, it was right up to 1:30 with trying to figure out this light and then this overhead light over here, which you can't, here, I'll just, here. So I'm going to move this so that you can see how right off camera, there's that situation. So trying to get the camera set up where the front cam was set and was a good shot, but didn't have the overhead cam, which I had on a clip and the clip didn't work. I had on this bendy thing and that didn't work. So I cracked out the tripod. And anyway, so I forgot my funny hat. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Dippity Doo. Oh my God, I remember Dippity Doo. Oh, hilarious. Yeah, tubular cast-ons for socks is excellent. A cowl featuring the cast-on. Yeah, so this cast-on, maybe I might use it in the fall cowl, but I'm also considering another one. I'm considering a beautiful decorative cast-on that I really love with cables. So I'm thinking about doing that. But because I like options, I also might give the option of two. Because I want the sweater to be unisex, one of the cast-ons leaves a bit of a decorative edge, and so not everyone might like it. You know, some folks might want a cleaner line, so maybe I'll offer two options. So there. So that's my update. What time is it? How long have I been blathering on? 40 minutes. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to get back to work soon. So what are y'all working on? So someone type in while I'm talking, and I'm going to, because today I've got to finish working on Zoom so I can get this class going. I'm so distracted by my hair, which I'm thinking will be the week of the 20th. Will be my first online class. And yeah. And then I just wanted to say one other thing, because I got a little, first of all, I want to, for those of you who follow me on the Insta and Facebook and Twitter and such, thank you very much for the masks. I put out a call, my sister who really doesn't ask for a lot and she's pretty stoic. So when she asked for masks, she's a doctor in Michigan, I knew things were bad because she's fairly stoic. To the extent when she had a injury once with her eye, a chemical burn, and because her threshold for pain is so high, when they asked her, to give a number, and she was like, it's a 9, but she's just like, I believe I'm at a 9. No one believed her. So anyway, when she asked for masks, I knew it was bad. So I put out a call on the social media landscape for masks, and I had about 30 in a hot second. So thank you. This week's fundraiser, really, really, really important to me. So first of all, thank you for last week's fundraiser. In pattern sales, we sold $408, and so I just rounded the donation up to $425 to One Fair Wage. So One Fair Wage got $425 from us last week, and that goes to workers who fall through the cracks of the government check that will be going out because they're either they work for themselves or they depend on tips. So that really helps. And this week's fundraiser is really important to me. It's Get Us PPE. It's for protective equipment for healthcare workers, for masks and gowns and face shields and all that good stuff. So because our government is not providing the healthcare workers with what they need, states are left to bid against each other in a crazy bidding war. Which I'm not going to get into, but there's 2 patterns this week. One is the first one that's up right now on my Instagram and Facebook account is the box and beam wristers, which if you've never done slip stitch knitting, it's a great introduction to slip stitch knitting, and you'll get a really cute pair of wristers, and you can do it out of scrap yarn. And there's a charity code which gets you the pattern for $2, or you can pay full price at $4, and 100% of that goes to Get Us PPE. Then on Friday, another charity pattern will go up, which is going to be the Nesting Diamond Shrug. Super cute. And you can get it at the charity code for $2, or you can pay full price at $6, and all of that will go to charity. It really would mean a lot to me this week, especially to raise money to get protective gear for our healthcare workers. We've already lost a couple nurses in New York and a doctor, and 2 of my sister's colleagues are in the ICU right now. So please, 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 would really appreciate it. Okay, going back to the comments, seeing what you all are working on. Excellent. Happy April Fools. None of this was an April Fool's. Just finished Cocoa Knits, Cal. Ooh, exciting. And some swatching for Palm Canyon. Excellent. Socks, beautiful. Swatching for Tortola. Ooh, I'm excited. Another Tortola's coming. Beautiful. Oh, more socks. Oh, Christmas stocking. Excellent. Oh, using Magic Loop for the first time. Magic Loop is awesome. If you already have the video class Circular Knitting Essentials, I go through some great tricks there in Circular Knitting Essentials to improve your Magic Loop. That one covers circular knitting, double knitting, Magic Loop, 2 socks, 2 at a time on Magic Loop, 2 at a time on 2 circs, converting flat patterns into the round, Judy's Magic Cast On. Basically, if it's in the round, it's in that class. You can get all my video classes on my website. Ooh, double knitting. Excellent. More Palm Canyon. Beautiful. I tried using a credit card to order a pattern. I don't know where you're ordering a pattern from, Freaky Geek. I don't run the pattern store. That's Ravelry. Or were you trying to buy a pattern from me? If you're trying to buy a pattern from me, that's the Ravelry store, and you can absolutely use a credit card. You're not required to use PayPal. Just sometimes people don't notice it. It's in very small writing. But if you have trouble, go to help@ravelry.com. Just remember that Ravelry is the store and designers are just your friendly designers, but you do not need to own a PayPal account to purchase a pattern on Ravelry. That is for sure, for sure, for sure. And yes, for positive, you can use a credit card. So just try again. But if you see the PayPal, don't just go, oh, PayPal, and click out of it. Really look at that screen and look at the options, and you'll see there's an option, use credit card. And you can use credit card. Pam's working on some Kate Atherley socks. Excellent. So let me know what you want to talk about next week. Someone asked about talking about fabric. I wish at home I have, tons of swatches, and I might sort of save that for when I'm back in Brooklyn and I can dump giant quantities of swatches on the table and really talk about, when I'm a designer, what I'm swatching for fabric, to get the drape I want, to get the hold I want, to get a firm enough fabric, all that good stuff. So I am going to go back to work on my secret project on the fall knit along. I've edited all the videos for the April 12th clue for Palm Canyons. Still have more videos to edit for part 2. If you're not already in Palm Canyon, jump on in. The most important thing about those video sweater classes is get them when they launch as a knit along, because they're on sale. So never buy retail. unless you're buying retail for charity, and then buy retail. There you go. What else? Yeah. And then don't forget, I'm taking orders for the Seagate sweater kit through April 12th. So April 12th is a big date. That's when Seagate orders close, and that's when Palm Canyon casts on. I might ask Anzula if it's okay if we extend orders a little bit. She's a one-woman show right now. She's dyeing and shipping and everything all by herself, but she's really hanging in there. And yeah, and last but not least, be kind to each other, and let's try really hard not to judge others without knowing all the circumstances. I see a lot of judgment online, both in my own inbox of, people judging me for whatever I say or do is not right, and also people judging others in comments of, you should be doing this. How dare you do this? Everyone just settle down a little bit. Really reminds me of something that happened after the election, when no matter what anybody did, they were attacked. So a friend of mine posted, oh, I feel so sad or hopeless. And, then there were comments of like, don't get sad, get angry, do something. And then, someone else would post, I'm so angry. And it's like, don't be angry. That's a useless emotion. Do this. Find some joy in the world. And then my friend posted pictures of his son's birthday party, and someone said, how could you post these pictures, or you're so insensitive to the pain people are going through. So just everyone's going through their own thing. Everyone has their own circumstances that nobody knows about. So let's all just give each other a little